Good evening, everybody. It's Monday night, which means it's time to go wild. Welcome to the Time to Go Wild radio show on Halton Community Radio 92.3 FM. We're also live across the world on hcr923fm.com/listen and via TuneIn. If you want to contact the show, do so via social media, Facebook or twitter.com/ttgw radio. We have email, radio@widneswild.co.uk. We have the phone 01928 835 291 and text 07716 672 874. Start your message with TTGW or messages charged at your standard network rate. I hope you're all ready because it's time to go wild. A very warm welcome, everyone, to the Time to Go Wild radio show on HCR 92.3 FM. I hope you've all had a good week and a good weekend and a good week in prospect. And with taser straitjacket and whatever other ropes to keep me under control, we have an Andy Shutt.
Good evening, all. Evening.
And a Stacey Bungay.
Good evening.
Ah, yes, both. Well, Stace, off the sick bed finally.
Finally, yes. Just about.
Yes. Oh, there you go, some extra bits for you two. Oh, well, what a weekend we've had. Very busy one for yours truly. And a busy one last night, was it not, guys?
It was in the box, yeah. So a big shout out to Jill Gillingham. She managed to get the first period stats in at the end of the second. It was that busy. She has to write them down with a pen first, and then she writes them on the official sheet, and then she has to transfer them over to the NIHL website. So she was very busy last night.
Yeah, I'm surprised she didn't get writer's cramp last night.
Well, looking at the game sheet in front of me, although it was only 18 captions, I'm not even counting up how many lines it took up on the game sheet for each team because... yeah, it was a very, very busy night, but it was one of those games where it was like the blue touch paper and here we go.
Yes, yeah. Every time Joe Greaves came into the box, well, nearly every time, I gave him a jelly baby, and unfortunately I wouldn't give him the last time because obviously he gets aggressive with the E-numbers, so I didn't bother.
Definitely a good reason for not having tartrazine in anything these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Stacey, your thoughts on the game before we get into the scores and the full flow of it?
Physical game, that's for sure.
As expected.
Well, yeah, that's true. It was kind of to be expected, but I think we played really well though last night, given that we were short benched as well.
Yes, yeah, actually, yes, they had a few more players than we did. We were down a few people you'd normally expect to be there. Scott Cooper and Andy Turner for two. But
Michael Novak,
yeah.
Stuart Brittle getting injured earlier on.
Yes, he's okay. He is walking around. He does know how many fingers you hold up when you point a thumb at him. So he did say a
that's
thumb.
Always good.
So he didn't get caught out with that one. But yes, I suppose we better do a roundup of the results and then we can get stuck into things. Time for the roundup of the weekend's results from across the Elite League and all our other leagues that we know about. Starting in the Elite Ice Hockey League with their Challenge Cup fixtures from Friday. Nottingham Panthers 3, Manchester Storm 0. On Sunday, Guildford Flames 5, Milton Keynes Lightning 2. In the Elite League, on Wednesday, Glasgow Clan 0, Cardiff Devils 1, Sheffield Steelers 5, Coventry Blaze 4 after overtime. On Friday, Fife Flyers 1, Belfast Giants 2. On Saturday, Milton Keynes Lightning 1, Guildford Flames 2 after overtime. Manchester Storm 3, Fife Flyers 2, Sheffield Steelers 4, Dundee Stars 0. Cardiff Devils 4, Coventry Blaze 6, Glasgow Clan 1, Belfast Giants 4. And on Sunday, Nottingham Panthers 3, Cardiff Devils 2, Dundee Stars 3, Belfast Giants 6, and Coventry Blaze 5, Fife Flyers 6 after overtime. Moving to the EIHA Under-15s North 3 for Saturday. Blackburn 1, Deeside 8, Widnes 0, Nottingham 14. In EIHA Under-13 North 3 action, on Saturday, Blackburn 6, Nottingham 5. Grimsby, on Sunday I should say, Grimsby 16, Widnes 3. In NIHL Division 1 North, Morley for Saturday. Sutton Sting 5, Solihull Barons 6 after overtime. Sheffield Steel Dogs 6, Billingham Stars 2. On Sunday, Whitley Warriors 1, Sheffield Steel Dogs 2. Hull Pirates 14, Sutton Sting 1. Solihull Barons 3, Solway Sharks 4. Nottingham Lions 3, Blackburn Hawks D1 4. Moving to the NIHL Division 2 North, Laidler on Saturday. Bradford Bulldogs 3, Coventry Blaze NIHL 2, Hull Jets 14, Blackburn Hawks D2 0. On Sunday, Blackburn Hawks D2 0, Sheffield Senators 11, Telford Tigers D2 4, Dragons 5 after shootout, and Widnes Wild 6, Altrincham Aces 1. More next week here on Time to Go Wild Radio. My cipher brain wants to make sure I did announce one of the scores properly. So on Sunday we had Telford Tigers D2 4, Dragons 5 after a shootout. I wasn't sure if I did actually say it.
Yeah, handy for us.
And then, of course, it was your YKK Widnes Wild 6, Altrincham Aces 1 in a manic game. Yes. But before that, before we talk about the YKK Wild, I want to do a shout out to our under-15s who were playing their very first home game on Saturday against Nottingham. Now,
you did well.
They did. They genuinely did very, very well, because the bench lineups was basically 2 lines for Widnes and 4 lines for Nottingham. The scoreline of 14-1, did reflect the way in which the shooting and the action dominated, but the Widnes lads didn't stop. They were smiling. They were digging in shift after shift. They didn't give up all game. And full credit, even chatting with the Nottingham coaches, they said that every single one of the Widnes under-15s, they came off every shift smiling, having worked hard, and they played well.
I mean, that's what it's all about. If you play hockey and you play it well, whether you win, lose, that's almost becomes the less important factor in a way. Yeah. I mean, one controversial game at the weekend in the Under-13s North 2 League is between the Manchester Storm Under-13s and Solihull Under-13s, where
again,
another blowout of 33-1. But there's been comments online I've been reading today about something needs to be done to bring parity to the leagues, but the league is what the league is now. So the main thing is, for any kids out there in the junior leagues and even in the teams in the senior leagues, the main thing that I hope everyone takes home from playing their game is that you've just done the best you can, and that's what we want to see. And the game for the game for our under-15s on Saturday, they just went out and played their hearts out, and I couldn't fault them. I mean, Luke Davis was MVP for Nottingham, and Callum Thompson, who was goaltending for the Widnes team. And, Callum was busy, and he made some outstanding saves. He really did.
Also, Colin, a bit of one for statistics. The Widnes Wild, the under-15s shot rate was a better conversion of number of shots than the other team, so that's positive for them. Converting more of the bigger percentage of the shots. So
every single one of those. I mean, we've got more junior games coming up in the coming weeks, and
November 17th.
Yes, come along. We've got under 13s and under 15s games coming up over the next few weeks. So, if you've got a spare hour or two, come down and just come and support the kids. It was actually really well attended, I must admit. There was a lot of parents there, and we made a bit of extra atmosphere for them. And I
think that's always
great.
A boost as well, because for a start, it gets you used to the crowds.
Yeah.
And it spurs you on, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So.
Full scoreboard, announcements, music, the works. Geeing everyone up, and it was a really, really good night for the kids. And I managed to catch up with Mike Tyner afterwards, and this is what he had to say.
Yeah.
I caught up with assistant coach for the Wild Academy under-15s, Mike Tyner, after the guys were taking on the Nottingham under-15s. Mike, just give us some reaction to the game.
Yeah, you can see the lads are coming on amazingly. Third game since the formation of the under-15s team, and I think they would put on a really proud performance tonight. Scoreline may have been a little bit in Nottingham's favour, but the lads, they came together, they played well, they played as a team, and you can see the changes that they've made from the very first time they played together, gelling, and they're enjoying the game. They're coming off smiling, so what more can you ask for junior hockey?
Exactly. I mean, there was a short bench relative to that of Nottingham. They think they had a full, nearly 4 lines, and there was only sort of 2 for the Wild lads.
Yeah, they came along with very strong lines. They had 22 ice players and 2 netminders. So we put together a 2-line team and just the 1 netminder. So for playing 2-line hockey for a full game at this age, brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
I mean, Callum well deserved his MVP for the Wild team, and he made some outstanding saves tonight.
He made some fantastic saves. I'm not sure what the shots on goal were for him, but he certainly kept that goals against down and very reasonable compared to what it could have been, and he played out of his socks tonight.
I mean, although there were 2 short-handed markers, no power play goals scored, and a very good PK from the Wild.
Yeah, they played really well. I say it's at this age they're not very used to playing these types of games at the moment. They're still getting used to it. Power plays, power penalty kills, still be very, very new to their game. But I say they played very well. They came together as a team, and I say they enjoyed it.
Yeah, good zonal coverage all in all. I consider it a very, very good game, very entertaining and well attended.
Yeah, very well attended. I say these types of games you tend to see that a lot of parents and families come along, and I think we saw that the stands were fairly full, really, especially in the central part of the stand. It was great, and obviously the atmosphere was great. I think a lot of teams will enjoy coming down here just because the match night experience we put on even for the junior hockey. So.
Well, that's the best thing we can say about coming down. If you've got a spare time, keep an eye on our fixture list and come down and support whichever team, be it from the 9s all the way through to the senior team.
Yeah, come down, watch it. I said we're here all the time, right through the under 9s, under 13s, under 15s, the women's. I say the senior team, and even rec hockey. We've got it all down at Widnes, so come and enjoy it.
Well, thanks for spending time to speak with me.
You're welcome. Thanks so much, Cole.
So there you go. It was one of those nights where it was a good atmosphere in the rink for the kids, and come along. That's the main thing. It's free to come in, and they'll appreciate it. And it gives them confidence playing in front of the crowds, as we're saying.
They're our prospective players, aren't they?
Definitely.
In 5-10 years, they could be playing for the Wild, and I think Mike does a great job considering all the load he's put on.
And the more they play, the better they're going to get. So
definitely,
that's experience counts a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, Mikey's done a big job with the rest of the backroom staff and with the juniors, rebuilding the setup and getting everyone back together, getting everything built, getting teams together this year, and it's a testament to a lot of hard work.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
It's of course you look back at the history of Widnes Wild in their first season, where we were, we started off and we were also ran team in the league.
Well, that's what we thought, wasn't it, at the start?
And
we thought they were going to be the whipping post. And
I didn't know. I knew we'd be, in the league.
Yeah.
We weren't going to be bottom. I could tell from the very first game we had a team that was going to be competing. You look back on our highlight reels from the first few games, you can tell, it's a team that's rusty. It's a team that was, rebuilt together because there was a lot of unknowns. The rink was an unknown factor in it, and backroom staff, a lot had come down from the former Filed Flyers.
Yeah.
We had Fylde players, a few Blackburn players from around the areas, and it was sort of put together, but there was no foundation.
And no pucker.
And Pucker did appear, I think, in the first season.
Yeah, he was in the first season, but not in the first few games.
No, not the beginning, no.
Yeah.
But it built, but everyone who was involved from those very first games onwards put the foundations there for what we now have today. And again, with the juniors, that is what we're building now, is this foundation. And it's, as Mike has said, if we can keep the atmosphere going and keep the night entertaining, then hopefully we can encourage people to come along as well.
Yeah.
And when you managed to bring a couple of newbies along on Sunday night, didn't you, Andy?
Anne and Jacob Maffett, friends of ours. We wanted to come for a while, and I just managed to convince them Sunday morning that it's going to be a feisty game. Anna was worried about her son and the fighting, but he loved it. So they wanted to come back. They were asking me this morning when's the next home game. So they converted them.
Who does not enjoy a good feisty hockey game?
Yes.
A number of people have said to me at times, there's little kids with them, and the kids are sort of, you say something, "Do you enjoying the game?" Like, do you like it when it gets a bit fighty? And the parents are going, there's one that said, they're trying to hide their eyes, and then the kids are peering around going, it's great. Well, I managed to catch up with a couple more interviews. One with a certain young man from the Wild who, let's put it this way. He popped a goal in, and I thought the roof was going to come off the plane.
Oh, Amanda Williams' partner.
Yes. So, yes, I managed to get Kenny Armstrong and Ollie Barron to say a few words after the game, and this is what they had to say.
And with Kenny Armstrong, MVP from Widnes Wild against the Altrincham Aces. How did that feel, Kenny?
Felt really good to beat them. They're a good team, and we just did the simple things right against them.
It was a very physical, feisty game as usual, but the scoreline 6-1. Very good way to end the night, I suppose.
Yeah, it's always going to be physical when you're playing a team like them. And I don't know, I think we've got a bit of momentum now from playing other teams, and we're just trying to keep going.
Well, it was a feisty one with a few fights, but you managed to keep a goal on your side for yourself as well tonight.
Yeah, I did. I just got it and threw it at the net.
Oh, don't be so modest. Don't be so modest.
No, that's it.
Well, so I've seen on Twitter that people are wanting evidence anyway.
All right, yeah. Just make it a little better on your highlights.
Oh, well, I'll do my best, but...
Don't put my celebration in, because I got a bit giddy.
Oh, what went to your head, did it?
Yeah.
But, we didn't have much of a game. We didn't have a game last weekend, so this weekend it was make sure everything was all working from the squad, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was it. We worked on some stuff in training, had a good session on training, and then, like I said, we're just trying to use the momentum.
Well, we'll let you have a nice unwind, and wish you well. Catch up with you next time.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Managed to catch up with player coach Ollie Barron. Well, Ollie, a lively affair against the Aces as usual.
Yeah, very feisty one, wasn't it? Great team performance, so really happy with it, boys. I think the Altrincham had the usual sort of tactics, always sort of feisty against them, but really pleased how we didn't back down, and we showed some real fight and grit, and then punished them on scoreboard as well. So 6-1 this week against Altrincham, and if someone had said last week we'd be Coventry 8-0 and I said 6-1, I think I'd have bit their hand off. Two very good performances.
Well, yeah, it just keeps the momentum going, keeps the fight very tight at the top of the table.
It's very tight, yeah, and what I've liked about the last couple of weeks, we're just focusing on training, on who his opponent is, and taking his plan into the week. And I think we've been very disciplined, and all across the lines we've got goal scoring ability, and the work rate's been very good. So I'm very pleased so far, but we can't afford to stop now. We've got to keep going. So
yeah, it was interesting seeing the goals spread across the lines again tonight, and a few different goal scorers, including our King Kenny. It was nice for him to get on the board.
Very pleased for Ken. I think he got 1+2 tonight. I think that's right. And he's a guy that turns up every week, every Thursday he's here at every game. He might not get the most ice time, but he's a big part of our team, big part of our changing room. So for him to grab a goal and a couple of assists at man of match, I think we're very well deserved.
So it's rest the weary and prepare for next weekend now.
Yeah, we were quite short today. We just had under just 3 lines and we lost Stu to injury. So guys have logged a lot of minutes tonight, so I just need to rest up and then Thursday get ready for Coventry next weekend.
Well, I'll let you get on with the celebrations and catch up with you again soon.
Thanks, guys. Just a big quick one for the fans. Incredible noise tonight, as always. Bring it again next weekend, and let's keep ticking these 2 points off. So thank you.
Well, both of them said a lot in just a couple of minutes, really, didn't they, to sum up that game?
It did. It summed it up perfectly, really.
You can look at the game sheet of where the scores came from, and it wasn't the usual suspects, really. I mean, okay, Danny Bullock tends to put a couple away, but Chris G with a brace, and then you've got Danny with 1+2, but the surprise package of the night and a well-earned MVP, Kenny 1+2.
Yeah.
And no minors for him either, although we did sit a couple of 10 minutes, the minors for a 10.
Yeah.
Which he does seem to tend to like to do those. But
yeah, he does. He comes into the box to have a chat with us, but actually
he come in for the sweets, is that what he goes in for?
He comes in for the jelly babies.
Yeah, he scored on a power play, didn't he, I believe, and he came back out early.
Yeah,
I think so.
But it was another surprise one, seeing Bez up front looking very comfortable and putting a very nice goal away.
He was eager last night, Bez was.
Yeah. But Chris G with 2 very nice goals as well.
Yeah.
And it was one of those nights where, Altrincham were firing thick and fast at the net.
Especially the last period he did.
But shots were actually 46-22. In favour of Widnes. 46 shots on... They
had half of theirs in the last period, I believe.
Yeah, they did play.
Yeah, 3, 8 and period, 11 it was.
Yeah.
But, they were a threat all game. There was a lot of trying to play the high player.
Yeah. Oh, they were. It wasn't an easy game.
No way.
6-1, but it wasn't an easy 6. It was.
I was saying in the box, maybe he tempted fate by saying it'd be a good one for Matty to get a clean sheet on, a shutout. We were all saying, but it doesn't look like it, does it?
Yeah.
And of course, at 54-36, they managed to squirt one in, and it just happened. I
think just relaxed, don't they? Then when you get that near to the end and you're 6 up.
So, but it was getting rather snug in the sin bin, wasn't it, last night?
It was, yeah. Very steamed up as well. Let's go and clean it a few times.
And on the subject of very snug, I'm going to play a song that's been played at other rinks when the bin gets rather full now. Because it's
Stevie
always
Windows again.
No, we're not having Stevie Windows this
week,
time. No. I used to like filming at the points where there's like at least 3 players in each bin. Sometimes we had like 5 in each bin, and our announcer would put on a certain song by Phyllis Nelson, and that's what I'm going to play right now for a little bit of a break for a moment. And this is Move Closer. So it's our usual reminder, checking out your YKK Widnes Wild social media websites and everything else for that. For news, of course, it's widneswild.co.uk for your website, and facebook.com and twitter.com/WidnesWild or TTGW Radio. Of course, you can drop us messages via radio@widneswild.co.uk and our Instagram page, instagram.com/WidnesWildOfficial. And, of course, all you YouTubers out there, don't forget to give our YouTube pages a like. Just look up Widnes Wild on the old YouTube search, and the more likes we get, the sooner we can get our nice little custom domain. In the meantime, Andy, what's coming up in the fixtures?
Yep, so I'm going to read out the home teams first, as normal. The Widnes under-13s are playing the Blackburn under-13s at 18:50. That's on Saturday the 10th of November. Sunday the 11th of November, Kingston Diamonds are at home to the Widnes Wild Women, and that's at 12:45. Then we have in the evening at 5:30 the YKK Widnes Wild versus Coventry Blaze. That's going to be another cracker. Then we've got the Widnes under-15s versus D-side under-15s. That's on the Saturday the 17th of November at 18:50. And then the Dragons versus Widnes Wild at 17:45 if that goes ahead. Widnes under-13s on the Sunday the 18th as well. versus D-side under 13s at 16:40. And then Sunday, the 25th November, it's Widnes Wild versus Hull Jets. That'll be another cracker. We've got some good games coming up, haven't we, to turn out anyway. And that's at 5:30. Absolutely brilliant. Can't wait.
So don't forget, we are still waiting for one fixture confirmation.
Yeah.
That's your YKK Widnes Wild against the D-side Dragons that was postponed from last weekend. So keep an eye out on all your social media outlets and widneswild.co.uk and eiha.co.uk for any news on that one.
And if you look on the Widnes Wild fixture list, it looks like the last 3 games are going to be against the Dragons at the moment.
Me and Cal were saying that the other day. The minute they had
So it could be the last 4 if Sunday gets cancelled.
It's almost like the Stanley Cup's all coming at once for us when we play the same team week in, week out, because it's part of the fixture list. Oh dear, oh dear.
I bet he wished us played us instead of Telford on Sunday, wasn't it? Because he won in the shoot-offs. So you probably wish that with Widnes Wild, but unfortunately not.
Well, a couple of newsy-related articles now to come up. We have one thing I just saw online, actually. Now, I don't know how true this is, but somebody's posted a little link on Twitter, and they say there's only 2 players who have played with both Gordie Howe and Wayne Gretzky. One of them
Never heard of either of them.
I've heard of both of them.
And one of them
I'll balance you out, Andrew.
is a guy by the name of Steve Carlson. Do you know who Steve Carlson is? He's rather famous. He's also
Pucker.
He goes by the name of his film pseudonym is that of Steve Hansen of the Hansen brothers.
Ah.
Yeah, so apparently he's actually played alongside or on the same team, whatever, with Gordie Howe and Wayne Gretzky. So there you go. There's one bit. Also in the news from the Elite Ice Hockey League, we have the Challenge Cup draw. So the 11 teams are now down to 8 for the quarterfinals. But unusually, the draw's being done in a different way.
Very interesting.
It is the top 4 get to pick out of the bottom 4. So the teams in order are, from top to bottom, Belfast, Cardiff, Nottingham, Guildford, who are the top 4. And then 5th through 8th are Sheffield, Manchester, Dundee and Glasgow. So your first pick will be Belfast, who picks from 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th, etc, etc. So second pick is Cardiff, they get a choice of 3. Guildford get Nottingham get 2 choices and Guildford are left with the last team. It's a very different way of doing your draw for the Cup, I think. What do you think?
Should spice things up a bit. Of course, if you've got some local rivals there, which you really haven't, it could spice it up in future, couldn't it?
Yeah, it makes it a little different because the usual predictability is that sometimes you can play a team in the next round, but doing it by this route, if you're in one of the bottom teams, you don't know who you're going to get this time out. So it's really throwing it a cat amongst the pigeons on that one.
Or sand onto the ice.
Oh no, you don't. We definitely don't want that. But yeah. So yes, there are a couple of interesting sort of newsy articles I've come across this week. Now, one thing that actually I can say that we had an interesting little bit of singing. And we want to get this going a bit more, don't we? After
we do.
Yeah.
Let's get some songs together for the Widnes Wild now. I think we've established our choir.
We were getting them in a bit of training last night with a bit of Sweet Caroline, and I think I was buoying everyone up a bit. I can't sing because I'm behind the camera when it's all happening, but everyone's getting
lovely conducting though.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I was taught well. I must admit, I was taught well. But it's one of those ones where instead of singing Sweet Caroline, I hope everyone's going to sing Widnes Wild instead. I think that would be a good one for them all to be singing out. And of course, good times never feel so good. With so good from the crowd. I mean, it was getting there, I think, and more. I think one of those ones where we can buoy it up a bit.
Giving out song sheets like they do at Wembley.
Oh, yeah. I think that'd be a good one. I mean. But yeah, it was a cracking atmosphere on Sunday night.
It wasn't as full as I thought it was, but the noise was incredible.
There was a lot of people standing.
There was a lot of people standing around by the toilets and the cafe.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is one of those rinks where standing actually it's one of those rinks where you can stand with a good view. Some rinks aren't so good for the standing, but Widnes is a good one for it, I must admit.
At Blackburn, you can't see over the hump at one side, can you?
Well,
at one end,
A disclaimer there: Blackburn are going to be working on the hump in due course. It's just a case of it is the big attraction of going to Blackburn.
Yes, it is the same as going to see the Dragons if they ever turn up.
No, it's also like going to Bradford, where it's the most quirky rink in the league.
I
love going.
Bradford definitely is. I like Bradford
so
though.
Do I.
Yeah,
it's a character rink.
Yeah,
it's the most difficult rink I've ever filmed in. But again,
I can imagine.
Ask the players what they think. Climbing up those stairs.
I know. I always feel sorry for the goalies.
Yeah,
having to get up and down the stairs in their kit.
Can't you throw him onto the ice? He's got new padding on him.
Well, it's not really advised.
No. But what we can say about Sunday's game, rather, Saturday's game was very tense. It was only one. I think it was only one penalty to each team, but Sunday's game was very lively. And
yes.
I'm not sure which one of the 3 songs I should play in. Well, it's actually 4 songs I've got on the list. Is it A Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting, I Predict a Riot, I Fought the Law, or Breaking the Law?
I mean, they all fit.
The riot.
Oh, you want Riot? Oh,
a bit of the Widnes crowd getting a bit.
Let's find it on the system in a minute.
Warning the people in the box about the crowd.
I can't. It won't let me get to. Let me try again. I'm trying to find it on the system.
We'll just talk about hockey instead.
Yeah, you talk about hockey.
How did the 50-50 go? I never heard that.
It was actually a good 50-50 again.
128.
Oh,
I think it was.
That's worth.
That was the prize pot.
Yeah, that's worth winning.
So there you go. That's your prize pot. Better chance of winning the YKK Widnes Wild 50-50 than it is of winning the National Lottery.
Well, I think so far we haven't had anything less than 100.
So. And to say that both Joe Gillingham and I were gutted like a pair of Grimsby halibut last week, the last home game, because her ticket was one side and my ticket was t'other.
Yeah, and mine was near by as well.
And so it was a case of, and that was the rollover week because apparently someone didn't claim it the previous game.
Yeah, it didn't get claimed.
And even Martina bought a ticket and all. This is quite unusual, apparently.
Oh well, for the rollover week, the money was coming thick and fast out of the dressing room.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for those of you who do come down to YKK Widnes Wild Games, the 50-50 is worth a punt, I'll say that much.
I remember winning it about 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It's 50-50, and what it was my mate Paul Miller came. Paul is in Spain at the moment. He came up, he said, they'd run out of tickets.
Oh.
He said, so we couldn't buy one. So I said, well, how much is in the pot? And I won 22 quid.
This year...
A fiver's worth.
So the thing is, this year Dave's going round. He's running out of the books. They're not just running out of it's not a case of one book. They're going thick and fast.
Yeah.
But no, we do appreciate all the efforts put in from the sellers and everyone out there for buying the tickets. But I think it's time to play one more because of Sunday night was a lively one. So yes, let's play a bit of Kaiser Chiefs.
Oh, you found it now.
Go on then.
I have. Yeah, here we go.
Good, isn't it?
Before we get into quiz time, you want to ask something, Andy?
Well, not ask something. I just want to tell the listener out there we've done the Control-Alt-Delete on Colin. He's reset now.
It's what happens when you knock numlock when you shouldn't have hit numlock. Then you're putting numbers on the keypad and it doesn't go in. Anyway, it's quiz time, courtesy of #TeamStripies of eiha.co.uk. You make the call. And we've got some new questions, but we're going to go over week 6's questions because they were intriguing ones, and I think we did pretty well last week on them. So, question 1. If a Team A player is guilty of an intentional offside, where does the resulting face-off go? Stacey, our survey says...
The answer is Team A's defensive zone.
Yeah,
straight
down the opposite end of the ice.
Rule 84, an offside is ruled intentional when the attacking team commits an action intended to deliberately cause a stoppage of play.
So, question 2, which we were pretty good on this one, I think, Andy.
Yeah.
Question 2, a player makes a move to butt-end an opponent but misses the player and does not make contact. What is the correct call? Our survey says...
2 + 2 + 10 for an attempted butt end. According to rule 121, an attempt to butt end is punishable by a double minor and a misconduct.
I thought it'd be something like that because it's a dangerous play.
It is.
And the other one, the final one, is a player who it's the recklessly
That's the
endangers,
important
and I think we were pretty good on this as well. Yeah. Recklessly endangers a player by checking from behind. What penalty or penalty should they get?
So it'd be a 5+ game or a match.
There you go.
And that's under rule 123. And like you said, it's the recklessly.
It's the reckless bit.
Yeah.
Right. Now, this one, I think these are... First one, I think we should know the answer to this. Question 1 for week 7. A linesman has made an incorrect icing call. Where should the face-off be taken? Any ideas?
On the ice.
Whereabouts?
I'd say the centre.
Stace?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go with that. Centre circle, usually. Okay, question 2. The puck is shot down the ice and a potential icing is going to be called. The puck deflects off an on-ice official and then continues down over the goal line. Is the icing still called?
Yes. I'd say yes.
I'd have thought so.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Going under its own steam, isn't it? It's not as if they're kicking it, so it would have got that anyway.
It was going to go over and it just bounced off them, so it still went over the goal line. Yeah. So I'd say yes. Right, now this is one of the tricky ones. A player has one skate in the neutral zone, one skate on the blue line. At the instant that the puck completely crosses the blue line, going into the end zone, so going into the offensive zone. Is this offside?
No.
I don't think it is.
I don't think so either. Because the other one I've seen is where a player has got
his foot.
He's got 1 foot in the offensive zone, 1 foot on the blue line. He's skating along the blue line with both feet on the deck.
Yeah.
And the puck then gets carried over the blue line. And you watch the linesman look at the trailing leg to see if the skate lifts off the ice.
Yeah.
But if you want to comment on any of those, please do. You can send your comments through.
While we're talking about icing, big shout out to the ice staff, the ice rink staff as well, for doing a great job yesterday. They had some major problems with the Zamboni at the beginning, so well done to them.
We've got a message come in courtesy of probably a text, and it's yes, it's a case of don't know if you've already talked the defence up, but they've they've been along with Matt Awesome, and they don't get enough credit. Young Danny Fay is a great addition to the team. Yeah, the defence did do a fantastic job last night, and
said that was short-handed on defence, weren't they?
Yeah.
And we mentioned Daniel Fay a couple of weeks ago when it was on, how good he is and how he's fitted in well.
And there was since that first game that we played, he's.
Yeah. I thought it'd be hard to replace Pav, but he's
much a different style of skater, but he just digs in and doesn't stop, and his work rate and fitness is phenomenal. But then again, they've all been doing really, really well. They've been protecting Matty Crawl, particularly at one point when they did crash on top of him.
Yeah.
And it's a testament to the way the team's all been playing. The tactics, the trainings all going together, and the quality of the league.
Well, the defence is brilliant. You just have to look at the stats on the league. How many goals they've let in, and the difference. The goal difference is absolutely superb as well.
Yeah.
Let's just quickly call up the league table as we can. If you go to EIHA.co.uk, you can get the interactive league table. So yes, 77 goals for, 27 against. Yeah. We are joint lowest in conceding with the Sheffield Senators.
But the Senators have played less games.
Yeah, but we are topping goals scored. 77.
Well ahead.
Yeah.
But when we were chatting before we came on air about sort of the relative table, it's the top 4 that have been doing a bit of trading places, with the Senators on the rise.
Yeah.
But if you sort of level out the games in hand, it's the Senators and Widnes, battling it for the top spot. Really, although at the moment
we're the only team to beat them, aren't we?
We are. So yeah, both you've got Telford on 2 regulation losses, 3 overtime losses. But the only teams on both Senators and Widnes are the two teams on 2 regulation losses. That's the only things that they've lost is 2
and they've got
regulation
Altrincham and Hull this coming weekend, so they could drop points there maybe.
So yeah, this coming weekend, Stace, our fixtures for the for D2 are.
So this coming weekend we've got, where are we? Bradford against Telford. We've got Hull versus the Dragons. We've got Blackburn Hawks 2 and Coventry Blaze. And then we've got Altrincham Aces and the Senators. That's on the Saturday.
There should be some Bradford Telford should be an interesting one.
It should.
And Aces Senators.
The Aces Senators one will be an interesting one, I think.
And then Sunday,
we've got the Senators and Hull Jets.
That's a top of the table-esque clash.
That'll be an interesting one.
Yeah.
And then obviously we've got YKK Widnes Wild against Coventry.
Yeah.
That one will be an interesting one.
I
didn't go to the Coventry away, but my mum and Carl filled me in on that one. So.
Yes, yeah, that was a lively fixture from what was all reports.
A few got filled in, didn't they?
And we've got the Dragons against the Aces.
Yes.
On Sunday.
And it's a very competitive league, really speaking. It's you want to look at the penalty minutes champions at the moment of penalty minutes are the Hull Jets, 118 penalty minutes.
Yeah. But it shows we're in a position. If we pointed out a couple of weeks ago that our minutes on off ice is quite low. It's about 17.4, wasn't it, at the time? And Hull, I think we're on about 15 minutes a game.
Yeah.
You look at Paul. What was it? The Bradford Bulldogs and Altrincham and D-side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're quite hefty.
They're the big ones.
Yes. It's one that, as the line goes, you can't score when you're in the bin.
No.
And
King Kenny could.
He'd find a way.
He came off and scored. He came out and scored. So.
Yeah, I've seen that happen. I'm trying to think. It was a player was in the bin, dying minutes of the game, penalty expired, straight out the bin, caught the opposition napping because he came out high. They played the puck to him straight on, tick tack, bang, goal.
Yeah,
that was really like Lee Kemp's against Bradford, wasn't it? He came straight out the box, got the puck, and banged in the back of the net.
Yeah, he did.
It's, actually, another one you mentioned was a certain Sheriff didn't end up in the bin this week.
I know. Well, I'm so chuffed about that because I do like Lee, and I like seeing him and talking to him in the bin.
He actually made a very impressive save as well.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, so I'm glad he never came in the bin, but I'm also glad he never did.
The usual suspects that would normally come and use your defence players like Tom Jackson and Lee Kemp.
TJ's not been off that much this year.
He's not.
No. He's been a very good boy.
Yeah.
He has. But it was. I think man of the night for being there was Big Biff. We might not have a mantra for him tonight, but he racked up a few penalty minutes.
Oh, he did.
And Joe Greaves, but that's expected.
Joe only racked up 8 minutes.
That's good for him. For him.
Mike racked up 20.
I was going to say it was 20.
He got 20 minutes of penalties. It's, when you actually look at the minors, it was actually 28 minutes of minors for Widnes and 22 minutes of minors and 5 minutes of a major for Altrincham. So it was only 1 minute in it, apart from the 10s and the games that made the difference. But I must admit, it was a fast-paced game. It was a lively game, and it was well worth £8 of anyone's money.
Yeah. When I first arrived at the rink, I thought, 4-3, 4-2 win for the Wild. I never dreamed it would be 6-0 up.
No,
I've never seen a game like that against Alty, but it's been that sort of like one-sided, even though it wasn't one-sided.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't one-sided.
No.
But before we get to the close, I have forgotten to do one thing, and it's a shout out to all of our main sponsors, of course. YKK, our headline title sponsor, Sprakes and Son of Widnes, DMH Tyres, Ruxton Electricals, CL Woodworking, Nails by Alicia, and of course our charity who were there doing their own raffle for the shirt and puck drops. of the Halton Haven Hospice, and I hope that all the representatives of the hospice had a very good evening, and the raffle seemed to go down very well for the, we'll call it surprise game shirt of Will Barron, which was one that was actually part of last season's shirts.
Yes.
Though not worn, it was there just in case Will got itchy feet. And no doubt, Will, if you're listening and you get itchy feet, I think we can probably scrounge up enough to get you another number 6 shirt somehow. The same for a certain Mr. Nick Manning. Don't feel that you can't sort of get itchy feet and start playing again. We'll have you back in a heartbeat.
A big shout out to the crowd as well for giving me father-in-law a massive shout out.
Oh,
for
yes.
his 80th birthday.
Hopefully he
thanks to Wally for the photograph as well.
And he did the MVPs as well.
He did, yes.
And hopefully he had a good night.
He thoroughly enjoyed it. The photograph with Ollie's made it for him.
Oh.
He's waited 80 years for that.
But it was a cracking atmosphere, and I've got to say the crowd were brilliant. Both sets of fans made plenty of noise. It was lively. It's
ice hockey.
It's hockey, and we've got more of it to come this coming weekend. Of course, on Saturday we've got the under-13s at 10-7 against Blackburn under-13. So if even if you're going for a few lemonades in out and about in Widnes, come along, show some support, and then go out for your lemonades. And then, of course, on Sunday, if you're not travelling over to keep an eye on the Widnes Wild Women in Hull, playing the Kingston Diamonds Premier League team, our very own YKK Widnes Wild take on the Coventry Blaze NIHL, and they are always a good skating team.
Yes,
they don't give up. They dig in game after game. Well,
and as we said last week, sometimes it's better to watch the women's games.
If you're a newbie, if you knew that, or the juniors games, because the juniors games are as good.
Yeah,
they are.
Definitely.
Well, that's it for another week. I'll be back on Thursday with musical torment to tease your eardrums once I've put the playlist together. I have songs, I just haven't put it together. And
Control-Alt-Delete.
And of course, back next Monday with more Time to Go Wild Radio. Thanks, of course, to Andy and Stacey.
Thank you, and thank you all. And thank you all, fans. God bless you all. See you next Sunday.
And, one last thing. I think a bit of the Clash and I fought the law to play out with for this week.
What an apt choice.
The sheriff.
Ah, yes. So, from all of us, till next time.
God bless.
Good night.
Ta-ra.